This girl may have loved Indy, but she loved the prize even more. This is the story of Elsa Schneider. Elsa is pretty unique in the IndianaJones Rogues Gallery. She was the first female antagonist, the first antagonist to be a love interest, the first one to die after the main villain, the first one to have sympathetic qualities. Yeah, there's a lot to talk about her. During the script's development by Jeffrey Bowen, Elsa was going to be the one that drank from the false grail, as Donovan was already dead by this point, and she was going to be the one to shoot Henry Jones. The first draft shows that she was originally going to be a more traditional villain, but after a few rewrites, they pretty much just made a typical female Fatale in many ways. American actress Amanda Redman was asked to play the part, but dropped out when she found out her character had to deal with rats. The role instead went to Irish actress Alison Dooley, who was only 21 during filming, making her the youngest actress to play one of Indiana Jones's love interests. Born in Austria and growing up to be an art historian, Elsa became fascinated with the legend of the Holy Grail. Willing to do anything to acquire it, she allied with the Nazi Party, helping them in their expedition to find it, teaming up with fellow Nazi sympathiser Walter Donovan, who wanted the Grail for his own purposes. However, unlike Donovan, Elsa didn't really believe in their cause, taking great dislike in their lack of interest in historical value, and not sharing their ideologies. Nevertheless, she still aided them, simply seeing them as a means to an end. Before she met Indiana Jones, she was originally paired up with his father, Henry Jones Sr., an expert in the Holy Grail. To find the whereabouts of the relic, during their time in Venice, Elsa and Jones Sr. got a bit too comfortable with each other, resulting in her revealing her true loyalties while they were sleeping. That's not to think about too much. This led to Henry getting captured by the Nazis, but not before he sent his research diary to his son, Indiana Jones. Using Jones to continue where his father left off, Elsa met him and Marcus Brody in Venice. She helped Jones discover a tomb underneath the local library, aiding him in the rat-infested catacombs to find the location of the Grail. However, they were nearly killed by the Brotherhood of the Cruciform Sword. After escaping the catacombs and a boat chase, Kazim, one of the Brotherhood members, revealed to Jones where his father is being captive. During their travelling, Elsa tried to find the diary, ransacking both their rooms to cover her tracks, until Jones showed her the diary himself. Knowing where the diary was, she soon turned her attention to Jones, and much like his father before him, they both got too comfortable with each other. After arriving at the castle, they both searched for Henry Sr. Splitting up, Indy finds him, but while returning to Elsa, the Joneses find her being held hostage by Colonel Vogel. While Henry knew who Elsa truly was, Indy still surrendered, but soon had his heart broken when she takes the Grail diary from him. Meeting with Donovan in the dining room, Elsa receives a telegram asking her to go to Berlin for a book-burning rally, hosted by the Fuhrer himself. After persuading Donovan to keep both Joneses alive and giving Indy one last long kiss, she leaves with the diary. While in Berlin, Elsa witnessed the book burning, but instead of showing pride, she looked on in distress, clearly uncomfortable with the event. However, she is soon captured by a disguised Indy who had escaped from the castle along with Henry. Threatening her to return the diary, she tries to explain her actions, but Jones refused to believe her. After Indy leaves, she alerts the other Nazis, and a manhunt begins. Elsa later met up with Donovan and Vogel in Haiti, and helped lead the expedition to find the cannon of the crescent moon, using a map from their captive Marcus Brody. On the way, the Nazi soldiers came under attack by the Brotherhood led by Kazim, but he is killed in the ambush. Before he dies, however, he gives a final warning to Elsa and Donovan that the Grail would bring them death, which clearly had an effect on her. While Indy attempted to rescue his father and Broody from Vogel, Elsa and Donovan proceeded to the Temple of the Sun, where they sent soldiers to attempt to navigate the temple's defences. When Indy, Henry, Marcus and Sully showed up, they were captured and Henry is shot by Donovan, much to Elsa's horror, as she still had some affection for them, forcing Indiana to pass through the 3 trials in order to reach the Grail chamber in order to save his father. After he passed through the trials, Elsa and Donovan followed into the final chamber, where the Grail Knight presented the challenge of choosing the one true Grail amongst many false Grails. Donovan was unable to make a choice, so Elsa offered to choose for him. Inspecting the many cups, Schneider chose a golden chalice studded with jewels and presented it to Donovan. It's unknown if her choice was intentional or not, as Donovan, after drinking it, began to rapidly age. Knowing that Elsa betrayed him, he turned on her and tried to strangle her. However, as he writhed away into death, Indy threw him against a wall where he crumbled to dust. Elsa and Indy began inspecting the Grails, noting that the real one would not be made out of gold. Instead, Indy finds an old wooden cup, which is a true cup of a carpenter. This was the true Holy Grail, after Indy drank from it. While they did choose the right Grail, the knight confirmed that, while they may have chosen wisely, the cup cannot pass or leave the temple. Indy made all his way back to the temple's entrance and used the Grail to heal his father's bullet. However, Elsa picked up the Grail, and forgetting the warnings of the knight, she found it was too late and stepped across the great seal at the temple's entrance, causing the entire temple to quake. Losing her footing, she tries to reach the Grail before it rolled away. She lunges forward, but in doing so is knocked into a splitting floor. However, Indy manages to grab her hand before she could fall any further. Noticing the Grail beneath her, she tries to reach for it, with her glove slowly slipping off. Despite Indy's pleads, Elsa ignores him, saying that she can reach it. Unfortunately, her hand slips from her glove and she falls into the mist below. After avoiding the same fate and escaping the temple, feeling guilty and upset by her death, Indy is explained by his father that Elsa never truly believed in the Grail. All she saw was a prize, and her death was brought on only by her own choice. When it comes to other forms of media, one of Elsa's most notable appearances is the sequel to Lego Indiana Jones. In the original, she shares the same fate as her film counterpart, but in the second one, she actually manages to survive and instead redeems herself, riding off into the sunset with the others. Was this based on an original idea by Spielberg or Lucas? Who knows? Personally, I'm actually kind of glad that they went with the decision to kill her off because, as I said, it kind of adds more of a tragedy to the film. While she was a villain, you can't help but sympathise with her and maybe even want her to change her ways, but in the end, much like other Indiana Jones villains, her own greed got the best of her. To finish off The Last Crusade, we'll be taking a look at another colonel, Ernst Vogel.